Back here at Broadcast Central, Dan Hawkins and McKinnicott. Day one of this 2023 Tinker Air Show rolling right along. We are getting very close to the United States Navy Blue Angels, about 30 minutes or so. So we thought we would have a Navy guy stop by, and it's Captain Robert, call sign Skills Majoris. He's the commanding officer or the Commodore of Navy Strategic Communication Wing 1 here at Tinker. Sir, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. My name's Bob Majoris. I'm the Commodore for the Navy corner of Tinker Air Force Base.
So we know you're in the Navy, and when we think Navy, of course, I know you get this a lot. You think they're going to be on the coast. But Navy in the middle of Oklahoma, what's that like?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of sailors that ask themselves the same question. And when I first got assigned here back in 2001, I asked the same question myself. This is a place where naval aviation is doing a very unique mission for the Department of Defense. And we have 2 squadrons here and only here that conduct a mission that connects the President of the United States and national leadership with nuclear strategic forces across the world. So inside of the airplane is communication gear that's custom designed to work in crisis environments, but to make sure that when the President and his advisors want to, they can communicate with their nuclear forces.
So, I mean, that's a pretty heavy mission and a lot of responsibility for your wing. And let's talk a little bit about the actual aircraft, the E-6B. I mean, and I when I read the fact sheet and it said crewed by 22 people, I was like, okay, there's a lot going on there. What does that really mean? I mean, people think, oh, the pilots, but there's a lot more going on.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot going on inside. It's basically a comm center that we take airborne. And so we have a lot of operators. We have people who are monitoring traffic that's going across different parts of the radio spectrum. And all of those people are important. They're listening, and when something comes in that we have responsibility for, we verify that it's true and accurate, and then we blast it out across the rest of the spectrum to include space, and then we can even send it VLF, which is very low frequency, which can penetrate water. So all of the people on board help coordinate that effort. We can also stay airborne for a long time, and we have more than 2 pilots in order to supplement and keep things safe.
And not only do you have the wing or your facilities here, but you also have some geographical locations out in California and Maryland as well.
Right, so it's a jet airplane, and it can go far on a tank of gas. But the way that we operate is we work at a Tinker, and we detach to either coast, and we have some permanent party there to help us out with maintenance and some of our hotel services. We operate from those locations for periods of time, and that helps us get further out into the ocean and then back. Yeah, so we have locations that are forward operating bases.
Yeah, and I found it interesting, the TACAMO name, the take charge and move out. Where did that originate from?
It was one of the directives given to the project that was the genesis for what we do, and when it was said, okay, this is what we need an airborne transmitter that'll help us communicate with our nuclear submarines, take charge and move out. It stuck. It got shortened. We have taken that as it's our charter and it's our calling.
So interestingly enough, I took a quick look at your bio before you came on, but I saw that you went to pilot training in Oklahoma.
I sure did.
At Vance Air Force Base. How did that happen? A Navy guy.
If you notice, so the E6, if you've seen it or would see it, it's white and it's of a similar size to several Air Force planes, but it's much larger than Navy planes. So the pipeline to get me trained took me so far through the Navy planes, and then when I needed to be able to complete my training and operate a heavy aircraft, Eaton Advanced Air Force Base was ideally suited. So I went up there. That was the pathway at the time for us to go and finish our training, and I got winged up there. That's where I got my wings of gold after I completed advanced training at Vance Air Force Base.
Very
So it was very cool.
We've been asking most of our interviewees this question today, but what is your favorite aircraft?
After the one you fly.
Yeah, so it would be the E6, and I have many fond memories on the airplane. It has taken good care of me, and it has taken also good care of my family through the career that I've had, and I've been able to fly it for hours and hours, and I've taken off before sunrise, and I've landed after sunset, and so I have a lot of memories on board. But when I was young and before I got into aviation, the space shuttle, and I know that's not an airplane, but it captured my attention while I was very young, and I clipped news articles, and I followed the space shuttle closely, and that got me very interested in aviation. And
very cool.
From there.
Well, on the theme of the air show, STEM takes flight, and so you said you were motivated and inspired by the space shuttle, the space program. Was there a pathway you took to make sure that you could do this for a living as you got interested in it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one of 5 children, and so when I thought about becoming an astronaut, because I did, I looked into it and I realized you had to be a pilot first. And I knew that going to a school dedicated to learning how to fly would be expensive. And as one of 5 kids, I thought, maybe I need to look a little bit more deeply into it. And what I came across was the Naval Academy. I had good grades. I was interested and ambitious and athletic, and I realized that if I could go to the Service Academy and come out the other side, that they would train me to fly. And that was a path that seemed, very it's not accessible. It's very competitive to get in, but it was a great option for me. I set my sights on it early, and I did get into the Naval Academy, and that made a huge difference in my life.
Wow, that's an amazing story. I'm going to ask a super lighthearted question now. Dan and I have been tempted by the snow cone truck behind our shoulders all day. Have you had the chance to get in line and get one?
I haven't. I think that if anybody's listening and is nearby to it, they should go check it out, especially since the sun is out and the temperature's rising, and we all need to do what we need to do to stay hydrated. But that sounds like a tasty way to do it.
A live look there at the Fat Albert, the C-130J of the United States Navy Blue Angels. I mean, I know you've been around the Navy, obviously, for, 1 or 2 years now, but how many times have you seen the Blue Angels, you think?
I don't know if it tops 10, but it's probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it never gets old. I am so excited for, and I love doing this interview with you guys, but I hope it ends before they take off, because I'm a big fan. I'm starstruck when I'm around the pilots. It's a really cool event, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're going to let you go so you can get back to your family and watch the Blue Angels as they're getting fired up. Their ground show will start at 1500 or 3 o'clock for all the civilians out there watching. But, sir, thank you so much for your time and what you do for the nation and for our country.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
That was Captain Bob Majoris, the Commodore of Navy Strategic Communication Wing 1. Let's kick it back out now to the narrator, Rob Ryder.
Mark Bradley. How about a nice round of applause, if you will, for Brad Lang flying the AT-6 for the Women's Air Force Service pilots. And David Townsend on short final. Now, as we look skyward in just a moment, as soon as we get David Townsend on the ground, we'll be getting ready to roll the music for Kent. But as you look skyward, please, kids, make sure you shield your eyes from the sun. We don't want to have any damage. Kent Pietsch is communicating with George Klein, our boss. All right, the music is going. You should be able to see the smoke generator on the wingtips, giving it some smoke as he spins down from 6,000 feet. Way to the right, he's in a spin. The airplane was there falling at about 2,500 feet per minute, but the engine has been turned off. Occasionally you might see the propeller turn a little bit. That's just windmilling. It is not under power. This kind of skill actually points out why he was so deserving of having won both the Bill Barber Award for Showmanship and the Art Scholl Memorial Showmanship Award. Now, as Kent gets closer to the ground, Mike, go ahead and fade that music out. And what we're going to do is listen a little bit to listen to the sound of the wind whistling around the struts and the wings. But out there in front of us, Mark Bradley is there. The attempt will be for Kent Pietsch, after doing this full dead stick, as it is called, routine, to land and have enough energy to put the spinner of his non-moving propeller into the hand of Mark Bradley, who is standing out there in the middle of the runway right now. On short final. All right, Mark Bradley, put your hand out. Let's see if he's got the energy to do it. Touchdown. Let's see. He's running out of energy. Does he have enough to make it? Come on, folks. Can he do it? Yes, indeed. Wow. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, representing Jelly Belly Candy Company, with a great big thank you to Sporty's Pilot Shops for their PJ2 comm radio that he uses to communicate. Give it up all the way up and down the line for Mr. Kent Pietsch. Wow. Coming up in just a little bit, it's time for the Blue Angels. However, the official auxiliary of the United States Air Force is the Civil Air Patrol. It is a volunteer organization of some 55,000 senior members and cadets from 12 to 18, senior members 18 and up. They provide search and rescue missions. They do counter narcotics missions. They are at the beck and call for airplanes that are lost, and cadets get aerospace programs and aerospace education, and it is a very, very great way to become involved with aviation. And as the official auxiliary of the United States Air Force, maybe have a leg up on somebody who wants to get into the Air Force. But today we're going to have a Civil Air Patrol aircraft fly by with a camera in it. It's going to be making 2 passes in front of the crowd and taking pictures to determine the size of the crowd. But I will just say this might be a good time if you're sitting next to somebody you don't want to be seen with. Might be a good time to move. So we're hoping for the CAP to come in here very, very shortly. Over your shoulder to the right will be visible in just a second here. You can wave or you can turn your back. This is also going to be a good time to grab something to drink to stay hydrated. And maybe make a pit stop, because at 3 o'clock we turn everything over to the United States Navy Blue Angels. In their first ever appearance at Tinker with the new FA-18 Super Hornet aircraft. I believe they're in their 4th season now flying it. 3rd season. Thank you, George. The CAP is way out there. Blue Angels coming up at 3. We'll be right back with you. And there goes your Civil Air Patrol. invite you to tune into my podcast. It's called I Learned About Flying From That. Stories of pilots who have gotten into difficult situations and lived to tell about it. It's based on Flying Magazine's most widely read column since the magazine started, and I hope you'll tune in and check it out. I learned about flying from that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have the opportunity of introducing to you the United States Navy Blue Angels. I have gotten to know this team over the last 20 plus years, and for a number of those years I've had the opportunity to go out to winter training and see the team at work during its very intensive training period as they prepare for each and every air show season. Let me tell you something about the men and women on the Blue Angels. The men and women, officers and enlisted on this team, are not given orders to join this most prestigious jet demonstration team. They in fact apply for a position on the team. They seek out a position on the team, and if they get the patch, if they get the crest of the Blues, that means they will be away from their families for maybe 250 days a year. They will work intensively, 24/7, whatever it takes, to make sure that Fat Albert and the 6 jets you're about to see perform will be ready to go each and every time they step into them. It is a very, very difficult job, and it
is the moment we have all been waiting for as our headliner. The Blue Angels are about to take to the sky.
They are the moment we've been waiting for. We've been leading up all day. The Blue Angels, their 77th year. They fly the FA-18 Hornet. That thing can go almost Mach 2. That's twice the speed of sound. It's really impressive. A wonderful team of 143 active duty soldiers and sailors that representing the might and the air power of the Department of the Navy. So let's send it out to the Air Show Central and Rob Ryder as he turns it over to the United States Navy Blue Angels. Enjoy the show, everybody.
Maryland. It is with great pride that I present to you the Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, the Blue Angels!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Your United States Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron takes pleasure in performing for you this, our 28th flight demonstration of the 2023 season. I'm Lieutenant Commander Thomas Zimmerman, narrator for the Blue Angels. The Blue Angel maintenance crew and their equipment travel aboard a United States Marine Corps C-130 Super Hercules, affectionately known as Fat Albert. It is the large, blue and white aircraft taking its position on the runway to your left. Today, Fat Albert will be demonstrating the high-performance climb capability of the Lockheed Martin C-130 Super Hercules. On the runway, from the left, Fat Albert will soon be rolling. They'll accelerate to 125 miles per hour, perform a low transition, and execute a high-performance climb, placing the aircraft in a 45-degree nose-up attitude.
Updated winds are 220 at 10. We on the airfield and airspace. You are clear for takeoff. Have a good one.
Hercules, built by the Lockheed Martin Aircraft Company, was first produced in 1956. It was designed as a tactical transport aircraft capable of lifting heavy payloads both into and out of short or unimproved airstrips, as well as provide air delivery and close air support. The aircraft is powered by 4 Rolls-Royce turboprop engines, producing more than 18,000 shaft horsepower, enabling takeoffs on runways as short as 2,500 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Strike is now positioning Fat Albert behind the crowd to the right for a parade pass, flown at airspeeds approaching 300 miles per hour. From the right, the Fat Albert parade pass. The C-130 is capable of carrying a payload of 40,000 pounds at a top speed of 375 miles per hour at altitude as high as 35,000 feet. Captain Strike is now positioning Fat Albert for a low-altitude, high-speed pass. From the left, at 370 miles per hour, Fat Albert flat pass. By an all-marine crew, led by Captain Jackson Strike from Omaha, Nebraska, Major Joshua Stoll from Spokane, Washington, and Captain Sam Pedro from Osceola, Indiana. The enlisted air crew for today's flight demonstration are Staff Sergeant Lauren Song from Aurora, Colorado, and Staff Sergeant Matthew Thompson from Woodstock, Georgia. most of the complete show season, that elephant will fly more than 100,000 miles, while carrying a normal show load of 45,000 pounds of fuel, 35,000 pounds of equipment, and a specialized maintenance and support team of nearly 50 personnel. Five Marine Corps squadrons currently operate aerial refueling versions of the C-130 Super Hercules. Designated the KC-130, they are capable of tactical in-flight refueling of jet, helicopter, and tilt-rotor aircraft. Additionally, Marine Corps KC-130s serve an integral role in the Marine Aircraft Task Force around the world. Most recently, in deployment operations throughout South America, Africa, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. Hi, and to the right, Captain Stripe will establish Fat Albert on a very steep approach angle, simulating landing in mountainous terrain or a hostile environment. To demonstrate the short field landing capability, they will touch down and immediately reposition the propellers to full reverse, stopping the aircraft in just 1,500 feet. You will notice the aircraft will not only stop quickly, but also produce enough thrust to taxi backwards.
John up there.